Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be looking at my top 15 favorite manhwa of 2022. These are not just new manhwa, these are all manhwa combined for the ones that I enjoyed the most this year. Let's not waste any more time, let's jump into the list. At number 15 is Chronicles of Heavenly Demon. Chronicles of Heavenly Demon had an iffy year this year with a bit of a hiatus going on during the year, as well as picking up on the war arc, which I have to say was less exciting to me than some of the other stuff, which is why it kind of dropped down in this year compared to where it has been in previous years. It remains strong with a really good storyline and a character that you want to see finish off his revenge path, but all the same, number 15 is where it stays. At number 14 is Return of the Manhua Sect, or Return of the Blossoming Blade, a manhwa that deserves to be higher on this list, to be honest with you. However, there's a lot of good stuff on this list, in addition to a long hiatus for Manhwa Sect that made this year a little bit of a mixed bag. That being said, what we got was so enjoyable, with character interactions and an OP protagonist that was just driving the success of the Manhua Sect continuously, and I really enjoyed the whole dynamic. At number 13 is Infinite Leveling in MURIM, another one that suffered from a long hiatus this year. But I have to say this one remains one of my favorite MURIM manhwa out there, with great character progression despite having its art be not the best thing in the world. At number 12 is Poison Dragon, which I have to say this year Poison Dragon came right back up from being a manhwa that was becoming a little bit too depressing and caused me to drop it for a while. But with the way the story has gone forward, the story has turned into one of my up-and-coming favorites that I think will have an amazing conclusion going forward, because the revenge path has only begun. At number 11 is Mercenary Enrollment, a manhwa that I did not think had the potential to be as long-lasting and as successful as it has been. The character remains engaging, and his little storytelling moments with his little smiles and small interactions remain as good as ever, and the story with the numbers has been a lot more engaging than I expected it to be, so I'm excited to see where it's going to be going in 2023. At number 10 is the first new manhwa on this list, and that is Reaper of the Drifting Moon, a manhwa that had an amazing first arc with a character going through absolute hell, turning into an assassin and taking off in his assassination missions. But there was this time jump that occurred and left me a little uncertain, but now that we're a couple of chapters into that time jump, I still think it's phenomenal and it's delivering quite amazing successes. The only thing is I'm not quite sure where it's going because it's setting up this big conflict. However, that's kind of what I love about it. I'm not sure where it's going. At number 9 is Magic Emperor, another one that dropped quite a bit this year, and this is because of a lackluster arc, to be honest. Most of the year was spent with characters that we did not care about too much, despite our protagonist, Zhao Yifan, being this amazing character. We were stuck with some people we didn't like too much. Now that we're getting into more of this battling scenario, we currently are going through this amazing period right now in the past few weeks, and I am so hyped to see the next little one. Number 8 is Solo Max Level Newbie. It's neither gone up or gone down from last year. I think it's gone down a little bit in the ranking, but not because of its quality, but rather because new stuff has released. I do find Solo Max Level Newbie is consistently strong, developing good character interactions, good itemization stories, and some solid world building with the tower. At number 7 is the last new one on my list, and that is Damn Reincarnation. Despite the newest chapters being a little bit slower than I would like them to be, there's a good amount of world building going on in Damn Reincarnation, and I'm really excited to see where it's going. Not since the beginning after the end have I seen this much world explanation and expansion discussing how the different characters went off into their own worlds and developed their own kingdoms, and the magic system is interesting, and I'm finding the art style absolutely on point. Damn Reincarnation is one I can't stop talking about because you see it on here so often, but I think it's definitely worth checking out. Number 6 is Leveling with the Gods, coming off of a hiatus not that too long ago, and it's consistently strong again. The story has remained consistent. However, I will say that this one probably doesn't deserve to be as high as I'm putting it up to be. Simply, I enjoy it. I really like the main character and his power set. The art style has always had this unique vibe, and there's something about it that remains in one of the chapters that I'm most excited to see come out whenever it does. That being said, though, I still think it's not doing anything particularly special right now. though I still think it's a solid and consistent manhwa. Number 5 is Nanomachine. Nanomachine, though I feel their most recent chapters are not as exciting as they were previously because we've technically arrived at the goal already. We set out a few years ago in the quest of finding our protagonist to build his place and get revenge, air quote, on his father that left him for dead. But the reality is we've arrived there, and now the story has to expand into something new. The real question is, will it succeed? The art remains phenomenal, the fighting is on point, the characters' overpoweredness has become a little bit overwhelming, but that being said, there's still some strong characters out there that are putting a challenge to his feats. At number 4 is Great Mage Returns. We had some great stuff happen in the story this year, and the manhwa remains solid throughout. There is no real fluff in this series, with the odd chapter building off some character interactions between them. Most of it is clear building for the finale against Lord, and I could not be more hyped as the battle against the demigods begins. The Ricky arc really proved that there can be some really strong, hard-hitting arcs in this story, and for that alone, it remains so high on this list. At number 3 is Ella Seed. I had not read this manhwa till this year, and it's one of my favorite now. I'm always excited to see a new chapter come out. I must say, not the best series to be reading week to week, I must say, though it remains a super strong story, particularly in the past couple of arcs, as we've seen some real strong characters entering the fray and seeing just how far power scales in this world compared to where our protagonist is right now. It still has that up-and-comer feel for our main character, this guy that'll do whatever he can even if he's unable to defeat the big bad, and that vibe always works for me. If you're still watching the video at this point, take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. At number 2 is Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Omniscient Reader, I had actually let a couple of chapters pile up a little while back, and when I got back into it, I was not disappointed. The story continues to build out a world that is more complex than pretty much everything else out there other than Tower of God. The sheer world building, quality of the writing, and the good character dynamics between the different individuals, as well as some interesting mysteries that were introduced regarding Daksha's family this year, make me really excited for what's about to happen as the world continues to expand even further, with now other countries becoming involved in the fray. Before I get to my number 1, 2 honorable mentions for this. One is The Beginning After the End, a manhwa that was in my top 3 before, but has completely dropped off of this list. This is because of, honestly, the past few arcs have had completely lackluster building, slow pacing, a bit of a disappointing art style for the type of story they're trying to tell, and while I'm excited to see where it's going nonetheless, I don't think it's delivering as strongly as it was before. I still love the world building of what's going on, but I don't think it's succeeding too well. Kill the Hero is my other honorable mention, and honestly, I would have loved to have put it on here because I love it, but I still think I would rather put the other ones that I did. This would be my honorable number 16. Kill the Hero has been strong all year with a great storyline, getting ever closer to the conflict with the big bad of the story, and perhaps revenge being close at hand. Though we don't see it quite there yet, we do definitely see the building of strength that's coming, and some great manipulations and characters playing against each other that I'm loving to death. At number 1, there could be no other. It is Legend of the Northern Blade. Legend of the Northern Blade underwent a hiatus this year and just came back, and I have to say, I am not disappointed with the way it came back. It came back with a BAM and a time jump. It had one of the most impactful chapters this year with chapter, I believe, 100. A yell from the top of the towers, the top of the podium, announcing who he was and his father and all these things, and it shook me, and it was powerful and amazing. The fights are always on point. The art style works for me. I truly don't find any big flaw in the series other than I don't believe it is for everyone due to its art style, due to a pacing that's maybe not as fast as some other series. And other than that, guys, happy holidays.